So when you say power dynamics, what are you talking about?
Like, yeah, I say I want a provider, but then also people who have like the money and stuff will use that as an advantage to try to like manipulate or coerce or, you know, prey upon naivety with young women. Like,
I mean,
look what I have.
couldn't I just reverse this and women are actually preying on men with money and using them for their money? Can I just reverse that?
You could say that.
Okay. Also, I would argue that I think women are much more socially attuned than men are generally, especially even, like, I think socially women are far more competent than men are, especially, like, you take the average, like, 20-year-old woman, compare her to the average 20-year-old man. She's probably had a lot more experience when it comes to dating. I'd say most, not all women, but most women can absolutely run circles around men socially. So we can also take it from, like, I think women have a lot of power that is oftentimes overlooked in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Okay. But it's interesting, though, that you say that there's this power dynamic of men with money, but you also want a guy to be a provider. Like you said, that's your type, as a provider guy. So on one hand, you view it as you want a provider, but you also seem to consider that an unfair power dynamic. So how do you reconcile wanting a man with money who can be a provider, but so are you saying you want an unfair power dynamic? I'm a little confused.
No, just intentionality.
What does that mean?
Like it depends on what the guy's intentions are.
Like
if he's like not going to follow through, or like, you know, play the power dynamic of like, I have this power and like, oh, you fell for this facade, and then just like that happens to young women all the time.
I think so you mean like a guy who maybe puts on an act like he's got money,
like the guy from You.
I'm not sure what
how he puts up that facade and then he kills women.
What the fuck?
It's just, you know.
Well, there's one example.
That's an extreme.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying there are scenarios where men, and I don't think you're wrong, where men will like flex on Instagram, oh, look at my watch, look at my fucking supercar, but actually that's a rental. Actually, they're not that, maybe they even lie about their job. Are you kind of talking about that? Like men who claim, or men who say, well, down the road I will provide, but never end up providing? What do you mean? Get this girl another energy drink.
Yes, please. Like I said, like the intentionality, and if you're not like, coercion happens a lot for like young women, or it can. And I think young women, specifically like with the whole like sugar baby thing going on, you know, trying to influence women to, I don't know. I just think it's like a kind of.
I just want to, you said the word coercion a couple times. I pulled up the definition because I just want to be super sure that we're talking about the same thing here. So coercion, the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. When you use the word coercion, is that what you're talking about? I just want to be very precise in the conversation we're having.
That might not be the intent of the male, but that does tend to happen sometimes.
So you're within the context of the guy being a high earner or being a provider, how do you see a guy coercing a woman within this context?
Just preying on young, naive women, really.
How so?
How so?
How
are the men preying on women?
Oh, like, here, like, let's go on a date. Like, oh, like, let's build a relationship, and then just not following through. And I mean, that's perfectly fine to choose not to have a relationship with someone. I understand that completely.
Is that preying on a woman?
But no, that's not what I meant. I meant like more so like, let's go on a trip and then you're stuck and like, it's like, whatever. That's
Wait,
like more
what do you
specific.
mean go on a trip and then you're stuck?
Never mind.
No. But you can't
talk about it anymore.
Okay. You provided these pre-show notes to us in our thing. Like, why? This is the whole purpose of a conversation.
I think intentionality is important, and
yeah, you already said that, but I'm asking. You mentioned the trip thing. Look, you mentioned the trip thing. These are words that came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand your position. That's why I'm asking clarifying questions.
men can portray themselves as something they're not, and then when you are with them, they can reveal like true colors, like abuse. Yeah,
abusive.
You gotta like talk
Yeah.
into the mic.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
Let me put it
I'll
closer.
tape it to your chin if you need, but
Sorry.
Go ahead. But so
Probably she means abusive behavior. You know, when manipulators
Hold on.
pretend.
Hold
Seaberg
on,
donated $100. So, are you women only able to be manipulated or coerced by a potential partner? Or is it possible you that a narrative, perhaps feminism, could have manipulated you?
That's a good one.
And to add to Seaberg, also men can be coerced and manipulated by women. Like, this isn't just a gender, one-directional, unidirectional thing where it's just all men are just doing this to women. I think both men and women can be toxic and doing these toxic things. But I'm trying to get at the crux of, you seem to be framing this from young women should be aware of power dynamics and intentions when getting involved with men.
Yeah, and I think that's not like all cases. Like there's just like extreme cases, but that's
Sure,
probably more of
absolutely.
a rarity. And that was just like,
Okay.
I didn't really mean to go too in depth on that topic, but it was just like something.
Yeah, but okay, so you're saying like guys not, trying to remember precisely what you said, like guys not being, saying they'll be providers but not actually being providers? Kind of, or?
No, that's not really what I'm referring to, because that's like obviously a choice, and like communication's like a huge thing. But
Yeah.
I'm more of referring to like specifically targeting young women and manipulating them.
How?
You know, I know what she is meaning.
No. Let her answer. Go ahead.
Maybe just like sex trafficking, for example.
Sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I abhor. Oh my God.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $100. Fuck's sake, sugar babies are literally women using men for their wallets, often promising sex with no intention of having it. Honestly, poet, university has failed you. Please get out of CA and learn.
Do you want to respond to Grid 1 Motorsports?
Yeah, me too.
Intentionality. Intentionality.
Okay, so just to respond to your thing, obviously sex trafficking is terrible. I don't think in general dating dynamics, sex trafficking is, I don't know what the frequency of sex trafficking is. That's a very outlier
Like I said,
situation.
Like rarity, yeah.
But this seems like a more generalized statement you have here. Young women should be aware of power dynamics and intentions when getting involved with men.
Also, just like the sketchy situations they can end up in, basically, to be aware of.
Okay. But you said, so men trying to manipulate young women. How are men manipulating?
Selling dreams, like you hear
Selling
all the
dreams?
times. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Selling dreams. So like, what would be an example of selling a dream?
Coercion.
Okay, but you can.
Like making false
How?
promises, like, oh, if you do this, I'm going to fulfill this for you and this and this, and then not following through. And
That
then
sounds like every relationship in the
Manipulation?
history of humanity to some degree, but
that's fine. But don't
but
specifically
not,
target
but so
young,
give me an
naive
example. Give me an
women.
example of that. Give me an example of that. So saying you'll do something but not following through, because I would argue that like most relationships, like for example, in a relationship, in a lot of relationships, people probably say, "I will love you forever," right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's not a legally binding. That's not legally binding to say you'll love somebody forever, because clearly people say that and they break up.
Implicit _in _her statement donated $100. Is that if a WMN has sex W/MN, he owes her a lifetime of resources? It's her slavery shit. Power dynamic and coercion is code talk for if I fucked him he owes me money, if not, he tricked me.
No.
Wow, that could be the nail on the head. I don't know, but you seem to disagree with this. That's why I'm trying to ask questions. So you said it was selling the dream. So like how?
I'm just kind of done with this conversation.
What?
I need another energy drink. Like.
Why are you done with the conversation? I'm literally, like, you're sitting there back there bored when I'm not talking to you, but when I am talking to you, I'm done with this
And I've kind
conversation.
of already explained it, like intentionality, like.
Okay, but so
like,
what is an example of selling the dream?
Like if you do this, this, and this, you'll be fulfilled. Like this, like they're gonna tell you up front, like my intention with you, if you fulfill this, then you're going to get this, 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 and this, and like, and then not follow through. And that's like, obviously,
If
like
you-
the building of a relationship, like that's fine. But to pray, like,
Go ahead, finish your sentence. Go ahead. Finish your sentence. Go ahead. You were literally in the middle of a sentence and you stopped your sentence. Go ahead.
I need another energy drink. Like I just.
Oh my God. Okay. Here, let me ask you a question. Oh, look. Boom. He's got the hookup. Boom. There it is. Okay. You guys sharing the energy drink or?
No, I'm just helping her get her cup.
Okay. Okay. Selling the dream.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Then I'll come
It's
back to
more
her.
like- it's more a question for you. I was gonna ask, like, are you mostly talking about just like how it is very common where older men go after younger women because we're easily manipulated. We're very young. We're very
Erroneous!
very.
Erroneous!
That's not why. I don't think that's why younger men go, or excuse me, I don't think that's why older men go for younger women. Could it conceivably be that younger women are more physically attractive?
Butler donated $100. Brian, I'm afraid the girl in black has genital herpes and it's affecting her ability to communicate. We're
Alright.
gonna have to send in the nukes, otherwise the plague might spread beyond California.
That's crazy.
Jay Butler he's a resident troll. He's every single show he brings up herpes. So do not be offended
What's
by
the name?
Jay Butler.
Jay Butler.
Every single show at the end of the show he's got to bring
Jay
up herpes.
Butler sounds like one of those dudes that like lives in the desert and like faps to the freaking whatever podcast and sends money because he's so bored.
He's a urologist.
Well, go to work. That's crazy. Yeah.
We should have just put Andrew Tate over your bathing suit picture. That would have been perfect. Just Andrew Tate face right there.
Sure. Okay, so
What were you gonna say?
That was kind of just like my point. It's like I know, like it's happened to a lot of women, and myself included. I was very easily manipulated when I was younger, and I dated a guy who was like 23, 24, and it was just.
wait, how old were you and how old was he?
I was like 19, 18.
And how old was
19.
he?
He was like 23, 24.
I don't object to that age
No,
gap
no, no.
at
I'm
all.
not saying like those age ranges are bad as long as you're legal. Shit, do
Sure,
whatever you
yes,
want.
that's my
But
position.
At that age, growing up, before you turn 21, we don't know anything. I still don't. I'm 23 and I'm still learning so many things. I'm still setting up boundaries. I'm still thinking my morals. But it's like at that young age and at a man.
Do women
who's-
mature faster than men? Like most women, even out of their own mouths, will say, "Oh, these young men my own age are immature. They're all just fuckboys."
I guess I could say I thought that at that age I was very like 19.
Boys
I was
my
like,
age are
I
so
know.
immature.
Yeah, I was very like very mature.
Goes both ways, I feel like. But
Okay, then yeah, I agree.
actually, well, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, but I just want to, because you said that older men want to be with younger women because they're easier to manipulate.
Sometimes, not all
I
the
object to
time.
that because I feel like a lot of people always want to pathologize men's preferences, standards, and boundaries. If a man has a preference, standard, or boundary, it's either criminal, it's controlling, it's insecure, it's some sort of negative thing. Nobody bats an eye for when a woman articulates her preferences, standards, and boundaries, but when a man does, it's almost always like, oh, again, it's going to be pathologized to the point of criminality, like, oh, you must be, if you're a 24-year-old guy and you date a 19-year-old, you're basically a P word. Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
No. But it's also just like, it's just,
But I can give you, I'm
still
going to give you,
growing up.
I have a list here. I'll give you some reasons why perhaps an older man might want to date
sorry.
a younger woman. And keep in mind, we're talking about adult women here.
Okay.
More physically attractive, more emotionally available, more romantic, more energy and optimistic about the future, more time to live life, travel the world before starting a family, more fertile, less baggage and trauma from past relationships, more open to new ideas, less stuck in their ways, stuck in a job city, more agreeable, easier to build a life with, more grateful and easily satisfied, less likelihood of having children or a psycho ex, younger parents who could be involved more in raising the children, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's perhaps some more, but
Oh, and no kids?
no kids.
Usually, if they're younger.
Yeah, typically no kids. So, and that's a preference I think both men and women like. If you're a girl, you don't want to date a guy who's got kids. That's totally valid. The reverse is also valid too.
Okay.
So,
Well,
so I think just going back to you,
Yeah.
how is it? I'm trying to remember the exact thread. How is it? Well, let's just
Stochastic Decay donated $99.
Oh, this-
Instagram
I was gonna
filters,
say this, dude.
airbrushing,
Yes.
Oh.
Makeup.
Yes.
Lip filler. Cosmetic surgery. Push-up bras. Shaping attire. Selling. A dream.
Yes!
100%. Like you say that these men sell a dream, but you guys sell a dream with your beauty. You guys use, like he said, makeup, filters. You'll do all kind of cosmetic surgeries. You are, if we can agree that men's primary attraction trigger is your physical beauty, then if you're wearing makeup and doing all those things that he listed, you are basically selling a dream. Have you had any cosmetic surgery?
Yeah.
That's a yes.
What do you
Yeah.
what? Lip filler? You've had the titties done?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that selling the dream? You don't
I
actually.
just feel confident. Like I'm picky. Like I don't care. Like that's just a personal preference. I
What
don't really
what's a
know if
personal
it's
preference?
for myself?
To have fake titties?
I think I look good. Like it's fine.
You don't want to hear my take on plastic surgery, but
anyways.
Anyways,
but okay.
selling a dream.
You're talking about men sell the dream, but women. You,
Yeah, I see how it
you
can go
guys
both
lie about your
ways.
beauty.
Well, I'm
You
not.
wear-
Like that's the thing.
Of
It's
course
like
you
it
are.
Comes with the
You wear makeup. Maybe you use filters. Maybe you've had other cosmetic procedures. Lip filler?
no.
No lip filler?
In the past, I've tried it once, but no, that goes away.
I thought it lingers for a little bit, even I don't know, whatever. Lip filler, makeup, filters, Photoshop, all these things. Good light. Well, good lighting's kind of valid, whatever. But posing, specific poses. Couldn't you argue that this is selling men the dream?
Yeah, you can argue that. That's fine.
Oh, okay. You know what? We should ban makeup.
That's fine. I like myself natural too.
Okay, based.
Fine.
Okay. So, okay. Here, you also said the whole sugar daddy thing often leaves a lot of women traumatized. Is that kind of what you were getting into? Oh, hold on.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $100.
Oh.
The copium is strong. Ignore the fact that women lie makeup / surgery / etc. and intentionally promise sex and love to sell men a dream they know they will never deliver. Stop lying to yourself.
That's facts. It's facts, Grid 1.